I do fantasy football.
It's my quarterback. If you guys do that, man, it's unfair.
How's your fantasy team looking this year?
I won $1 million.
Come after me! I'm a man! I'm 40!
Hello, this is Lachlan Patterson, and you're listening to My Fantasy Wife Podcast. Enjoy.
My Fantasy Wife Podcast.
Style is impetuous. My defense is impregnable.
Blair.
I watched 40 minutes of Space Jam this weekend. It's 40 minutes of my life. I'm not going to get back.
Put that in your pipe and smoke it.
Gary.
They had already announced he was leaving.
Well,
he just didn't want to wait out the 30. You know how when you quit a job, you got to give them 30 days or whatever. He's
2 weeks. You've never had a real job, have you?
No.
He is the man in the fantasy world.
Drew.
You're not a Peyton Manning fan,
I'm not a Manning fan.
Oh, you can't be serious, man. You cannot be serious!
Lewis.
You love Burger King.
Yeah, I like Burger King.
Yeah.
Not the game. We're talking about practice, man.
You're listening to My Fantasy Wife Podcast. www.myfantasywife.com.
Welcome, listeners, to My Fantasy Wife, the weekly sports meets comedy meets marriage podcast, where a husband and wife discuss sports, fantasy leagues, and their impact on pop culture and relationships, including their own. I'm the wife, comedian Blair Postman.
Hey.
Yay! I'm joined by my husband and sports stat expert, Gary Haymes.
Fantasy billionaire.
And fantasy billionaire, Gary Haymes.
Yeah, right.
Hot Topics and social media maven Drew Harrison is out on assignment, but still rounding things out is sound engineer, comedian, and man about town, Mr. Louis Bishop.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
To never miss our weekly episodes and extras, subscribe in iTunes, Stitcher, or YouTube. Find us on Facebook or Instagram at My Fantasy Wife Podcast, Twitter at My Fan Wife, and support the podcast by liking and rating us in iTunes. Miss any of that? Go to our website, myfantasywife.com, with links to everything. Gary,
Yeah.
tell us about this week's sponsor.
All right. Look, Blair.
Yes.
Here's the deal.
Yes.
We've had a lot of sponsors.
Sure.
This week's sponsor is
What
Dead
makes
Crow
them-
Comedy Room.
Oh my gosh, that's the front door!
Yeah. If you didn't know it, they're located in beautiful downtown Wilmington, North Carolina.
Right.
And they've got weekly events. At those weekly events, they feature local and regional comedians.
Really?
For instance,
Both kinds.
every single Tuesday,
Country and Western.
free comedy bingo, hosted by our own Mr. Louis Bishop
Ah.
and his in-booth sidekick, Mr. Lou Morgante.
Oh, wonderful.
As well as nationally touring comics from TV and movies every weekend.
Well,
Whether you're local or visiting the Wilmington, North Carolina area on your beach vacation, be sure to check them out at deadcrowcomedy.com. That's deadcrowcomedy.com.
you know, you're stretching it because last time we finished early, and then we stretched it just a hair too much. But do you like it? I fixed that word in there. Area.
Yeah.
I
No, I preferred it the other way.
Oh, you fixed it wrong. How you doing, Mr. Bishop?
What was the word?
Area. I kept leaving out the Wilmington, North
Yes,
Carolina
it was
area.
if you're visiting the Wilmington, North Carolina on your beach vacation.
Area.
And Gary, he knew what it was supposed to be.
Right,
the
he
last
knows.
few
He's
weeks.
educated.
He knows. But he just allowed the typo to stand
Right.
each time.
Well, you know how Gary
just
is.
to be sassy.
Just to be supportive of my wife.
Were you be? Oh, is that it?
Yeah.
You didn't fix my mistake.
You typed it that way. I read it. I figured you knew better than me.
Oh,
You didn't want to correct her?
for the
With your
Right,
larger
why-
IQ and your greater schooling, I figured you knew something I didn't know.
We tied on that Wonderlic test a couple of years ago.
Yeah, but you went to Washington Lee. I went to Wofford.
Well, they're practically the same school. All right, guys.
I've heard of neither, so don't worry.
Well, you wouldn't be the only one.
I know lots of schools.
Sure. Name 7. No, I'm just kidding.
Washington State,
right.
North Carolina State.
All the states.
Hard Knocks. School of Hard Knocks.
School of Hard Knocks.
Yeah.
Beauty school.
Yeah.
Beauty
From which you
school.
can be a dropout.
Yes.
Millermont Community College.
School of Rock.
Right.
Right. Okay. Okay, guys. Well, upcoming this week is a very special week. It's Gary's favorite week of the year. And for episode 127...
Second week in September.
Well...
It's something about the weather. It's not summer, but it's not winter. It's
right.
my favorite week of the year.
But beyond just being episode 127, if you can freaking believe it.
No.
I really can't either.
No.
What have we been
doing? I
went
back and counted the other day. We're on like 40.
No, we're not.
Yes, we are.
No, we're not.
Well.
No, because I don't want you to spread that rumor because I want credit for each and every one of these goddamn outlines I've made.
Now, I counted in base 12, so that throws the count off a little bit.
Okay. Anyway, it's Gary's favorite week of the year, not just because of the weather outside,
right,
but it is Gary's third annual Gary's Critique of Everybody's Fantasy Football Draft and Friend Alienation Special.
Yay.
Very good. We're doing it in episode.
The only problem with that title is that after the last two alienations,
yes,
I don't really have any friends left. So
right.
Now I'm alienating indiscriminate people who don't care about me one way or the other.
Well, throughout the year, you try to pick up one, maybe two people, new acquaintances.
Yes, I did bring a supposed friend in this year, but he'll hate me after we finish this.
Yeah. Oh no, he's not going to like you. He moved away, so maybe he's a good pick for that reason. And also, we're going to be wrapping up our Game of Thrones Season 7 wrap-up and point allocation with Dragon Master Joe Perot.
Oh, God, that's a beautiful name.
Ooh, and it rhymes. And also, next week, we're going to have Mary Mack and Tim Harmston. And then the episode after that, we're going to have comedian out of Kansas City, Aaron Naylor, and lots of fun stuff in October. So, woo!
My mother's making me Mary Mack.
Yeah, I know. Don't give away what you don't want to give them any hints about what games we'll be playing.
Right. Don't want to alienate my friends.
Right. So we also
Hey Blair, did you see the video? I took a picture of an alien. It ate my friends.
What?
Alienate my friends.
An alienation. No, and we need someone with they shunned and ate you and shunned your friend.
Now you're way out of line.
Okay, landlocked. Is that what you said? That's about right. I've gotten myself in an impossible situation yet again. All right, guys. So also out for the next couple of Sundays, our ombudsman, Wills Maxwell, on assignment. So I'm going to be doing
Where has Wills been?
Well, he's been.
I want honesty.
Rehab.
Goddammit.
He's been doing a lot of traveling. I think he's in New York this week doing comedy stuff. So,
really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I heard he was spending 30 days in the hole.
Really?
Yes. I kept playing that song in the background the whole time I heard about it.
What the song?
Do you know that song? That 30 Days in the Hole?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Humble Pie.
Yeah, right.
Oh, I'm unfamiliar with it.
You know it.
Wait a minute. Blair's unfamiliar with Humble Pie?
I've heard of Humble Pie, but I don't know 30 Days in the Hole.
You've never heard of Humble Pie.
But I have a feeling that we could find out what it sounds. Oh, that's nice. It is nice. Well,
this is where
with this background, I'll be taking over the fact checking this week. I might need to stop. This is pretty good. Does it get better or worse?
Oh, no. Better.
Better?
Yeah.
Better.
It's hard to believe.
It's kind of like Southern funk rock.
Right. Yes, very much.
Because there's a very strong electric guitar there.
I can't believe you've never heard this.
No, it's a famous song. This is a hit.
One.
This is the William and Mary fight song. Is that where you went, William and Mary?
No.
Washington and Lee. Oh. Although that's a common mistake. That's another school the name of. That's a real school.
Was that a put down or a put up?
It's about level.
Put
roughly.
level.
All right, guys. Well, we're going to, as we listen to Humble Pie in the background, I'm going to do a little fact checking.
All right.
And listeners, this is the part of the podcast where we correct the mistakes we made last week to make room for the mistakes we're going to make this week.
I just want you to know I knew this one, this first one.
Oh, this part? Yeah. Well, I got a little extra information. So in the first fact check, we were talking to Joe Perot about Dragon Master stuff. He turned the music down just a hair because I'm having trouble hearing.
Turn it up, okay.
But the no, keep it on. Just
something about the humility. She just can't.
Right. And so
too much.
So anyway, Joe had something on in the background when he was on doing Dungeon Master stuff. And he said it was bar rescue, and we got into a conversation with him about what was the weirdest bar rescue theme that he had ever.
Yeah.
So and he talked about this pirate bar, and Gary and I were saying there was a pirate bar in Silver Spring, Maryland,
which I went to many times.
I wonder if that was the real.
And it was the worst bar in America. It was hemorrhaging money.
Same thing. And Joe's like, I don't know. I feel like this was in Denver, and we back and forth. Well, it turns out I did a little Googling, and the bar rescue episode mentioned by Joe Perot, what was featuring the same pirates bar that we lived near in Silver Spring, It was Pirates with a Z, Piratz. And after this is a little update on the bar. A few weeks after bar rescuer Rebello closed the bar and had it reopened again, Pirates as like corporate something. It was something.
Well, it was one block from the
Discovery Channel,
huge 20-story Discovery Channel headquarters. It should have been a corporate, friendly bar.
Right, and so they the loyal customers.
Oh, it wasn't like it was like an actual pirate bar. They tried to make it like. You go in and
everybody had eye patches and they served grog instead of beer and all these women in like these
hooks.
big 18th century dresses.
Yeah.
And it was filthy.
And they talked in like British accents and
Meanwhile,
stuff.
there's 3,000 people in expense account like half a block away looking for someone to have a drink and they can't go in there.
Right, because it's just too much.
Yeah. Right.
So anyway, but just a week after they revamped it.
So like medieval times kind of, but in a
bar. Yes,
yeah.
but with a definite pirate focus in those medieval times.
But actual pirates, so it's dirty.
Yes,
it was filthy.
Not
dirty.
not as dirty not as clean as the actual medieval times.
Right.
Dirtier than
less plague, maybe.
Yes, a little bit, maybe a little less plague. Anyway, let me tell you this.
Okay,
listen.
The week after this, they go through this whole transformation. The loyal customers celebrated as the pirate bar returned to its old ways. And they
just threw out everything that he did.
They threw out everything that he did. They burned some of the things the bar rescue gave them in effigy. They recorded the act and turned it into a music video. And and the guy Taffer, I guess, was really angry about it. And Pirates Tavern returned, receiving mixed reviews on Yelp until 2015, until the doors were finally closed down for good.
Okay.
So there you go.
They did it their way.
They did do it their way.
For a little while longer until he went totally out of business.
Right.
Okay.
And then we were talking about Floyd Mayweather, and how, he, despite winning millions and millions of dollars the last fight and the previous fight with McGregor and then the guy before that.
And millions before that, too.
Yes.
Don't think that he just had two big paydays. He's been having paydays for a long time.
Fair enough. But he still seems to have money issues and tax issues and so forth. And one of I'm sure many contributing factors, as Gary found out, was that he has $1,000 haircuts like 3 times a week.
Yes. And yet his head is shaved.
You're right. And so we said, well, he could save a lot if he went to Great Clips, and I had suggested that he could even save money if he bought a Great Clips. So it turns out a haircut at Great Clips costs $15.
No, it doesn't.
No, that's a lie.
Well, that's what it said.
Less here.
That's the average national.
Right.
That's the national average.
All right.
So it's $15 for a standard man. That's without shampoo or anything.
Right.
But
I ain't getting shampooed. I ain't going then.
And if that costs like $3 or $4 more.
Okay.
But if you bought a franchise of Great Clips, depending on what market you were in, it would be between $109,000 and $249,000 to open that franchise.
Right.
Which means if he bought a Great Clips and just got his haircut there, assuming he owned it, he could get for free. It would pay for itself in only 2.5 to 6 months, depending on where that franchise was located.
But he can't take the Great Clips with him. That's the thing.
Well, but okay, he could buy a couple. He could buy one in Las Vegas.
That math
one
isn't right.
Oh, yeah, it is.
$3,000 a week is what he would save.
Oh, it's 3 a week. I was doing this as 1 a week.
Well, 3 a week is 3,000, so it's 12,000 a month, so it's 120,000 a year.
No, 3,000 a week.
So it's 12,000 a month. So it's 120,000 a year.
Well, I'm doing it as 50 weeks, so that'd be $150,000 a year, at least, if you took 2 weeks off. Anyway, the point is, we'll work on the math. We can fact check the fact check.
It is 150,000, but you just said 3 months.
Yeah, I know. I made a mistake.
That's what I said. The math isn't.
No,
right.
it's 25 to 60.
Yeah. Okay.
I left off a 0. It's 25 to 60 months.
Okay.
But it's less.
That's right.
It's less, though. It's 12 to 20 months because I forgot he was getting 3 a week.
All right.
So in 1 year to about a year and a half or so, if he could make his money back and save some of that money he's made. Fascinating. Yeah, and carry the 7. Yes, that's
it's
correct.
the Batcave.
All right. Did
you ever see that episode when King Tut in the old 60s with Adam West, and King Tut found the Batcave, and they plunged through a tunnel, and they're standing there, and King Tut looks around, and he's like, "Where are we?" He's like, "Wait, carry the 7. It's the Batcave."
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very specific pice of information you've got there.
One of my favorite episodes.
All right, can we have a little for a little Hot Topics music? We're gonna just touch on. Before we get into Gary's friend alienation special, just a little.
I've decided to go soft this year, by the way.
Oh, really?
I'm just going to compliment everybody.
You're not going to be able to sustain it. Like you may be the first half of the first person.
I'm lying.
Okay, and so the U.S. Open has been this weekend. And just fun fact, the men's final, as we tape this, is today. But there were 2 American women. I know, Gary, they're not men, but 2 American women in the finals. And I think it was all American women in the semifinals.
How much do you win for this thing?
I don't know, hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Damn it, I should have entered.
Yeah, and so it was Madison Keys against Sloane Stephens, and I believe Sloane Stephens won handily.
Yes.
And so congratulations to her. So there's some and they're only like 20 and 21, and they're both apparently going to be back.
Well, let me point out to you that unless tennis ends, somebody has to win every year.
Yes, but there was a whole bunch of young American women who are doing really good. So your problem,
somebody has to.
But your problem was that there was like not Americans who were winning; that it was Europeans and other folks from around the world.
Right.
Now this would indicate perhaps a resurgence of American tennis.
Let's see. Sloane Stephens has been around a while.
She's only like 20 or 21.
I know. Good. We just superstar women tennis players start winning at about 13.
Apparently not anymore.
Yeah, that's my point.
Okay. Okay. All right. Anyway, can we get a little Hot Topics music?
Because that was a smoking hot topic.
Look, I just wanted to mention it. It was a big deal.
Okay.
All right.
To somebody other than the people in this room.
And you know what I'd like you to find for me, Mr. Bishop, if you
What's
could,
that?
if it wouldn't be too much trouble. There's a certain NFL theme song that we use from time to time here in the podcast.
Brian, don't.
It's a yeah. Now that's the one. Excellent. I think that's the official start to our real NFL coverage. And now we're gonna just really sit back, relax, Lewis and I, and listen to Gary as he goes through the lineups and the selections of everyone in our My Fantasy Wife Fantasy Football League, and criticizes them all into smithereens.
No. Analyzes their draft strategy
and crown himself the king of the draft.
Not only if I have the best.
For the third year in a row. So
this man's won the NFL draft 3 years in a row.
And yet never the league.
Winning starts at the beginning, and that's when Gary Haymes wins the most.
It's my specialty.
Right. Winning at the beginning, before anything's been played, is definitely your specialty here.
Right.
It was a cold day in Minnesota when Gary Haymes stepped on the draft field.
All right, so I have a list, I think, of everyone's teams.
Oh.
Now, this is not exactly going to be the draft because people have possibly made moves since the draft, so it'll be kind of what they're starting with day one.
Yes.
Which is not exactly the same
thing. It is 90-something% the draft for sure. I don't think we got a lot of notification because it notifies you when people pick things up and put things
No, we haven't had many changes.
Right.
Well, coincidentally, the first team in the list is Team Furry Fury.
Why are you starting with me? Do you think this is a
smart
thing?
There's a list, and you're the first one on it. Did you have the first pick?
No.
Oh, I don't know then. But you're first on my list here.
Is it because you like me the most?
No, it's because of the list order from 1 to 10. You're 1.
All right.
Okay. Right.
Okay. How do I get to see all the teams? Okay, now we're really starting. Don't worry about my thing. Don't worry about that, Gary.
Hang on.
Gary's trying to help me see the list of all the teams.
Blair, but it's
killing. We're killing daylight.
Destroying the show.
Oh my god!
Hit that top left corner button and hit team list or something like that.
Okay, I'll find it. Don't worry about it.
By the way, they're showing old NFL highlights on this song.
Yeah.
And a quarterback was just wearing glasses.
That's not good.
Wow.
Yeah.
That seems dangerous to me.
This is the greatest song ever written, by the way.
Oh my God.
This and that Humble Pie song.
They should merge them together.
All right, so anyway.
We don't have a lot of time. We got to call Joe Pro.
Blair's
like
quarterback,
30 minutes.
Tom Brady, is 55 years old today. Or yesterday. His birthday was yesterday. He's 55 years old.
I got to tell you, there's been a lot of disappointments on day one for me.
Le'Veon Bell,
55-year-old.
Le'Veon Bell was your first draft pick. He's pretty good. I can't find any fault with that. Carlos Hyde, at 1 o'clock this afternoon, there was a large earthquake, and he fell off into the Pacific. So I think you're going to have some problems there.
Why did you say that?
Because he's just... Carlos Hyde has been around for about 5 years. Everybody loves him in the first, and then he gets hurt and he doesn't do anything, and he's laughed out of the league by the end of the draft. So I can't give you too much credit for that one. T.Y. Hilton's a good receiver. Golden Tate, I know you just picked because of the name, but he's reasonable. Those receivers aren't bad. You lack star power, but they're not bad. Jimmy Graham, I think, is going to be the comeback player of the year. That's a good pick. Allen Robinson is terrible. 1 year wonder. Had a horrible year last year and hurt his knee today during the game. So can't like that too much. Seahawks.
Wait a second. What?
Seahawks D is good. I thought we were in a hurry.
Well,
and Adam Vinatieri might be older than Tom Brady.
I know.
So
but he's still kicking.
However, you do have Gillislee on your bench. You decided you didn't want his 22 points this week.
Well,
but,
I didn't decide it.
And
I should have had Dak Prescott.
It's all right. Yeah, you got a good team.
Your buddy Dak Prescott.
Dak Prescott, I love as a quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. I do not much favor him as a fantasy quarterback.
Well, he's my backup.
Yeah.
But he did better this week than friggin'...
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tom Brady, he's an octogenarian player. I don't know how you think an octogenarian could play in the NFL.
He's not an octogenarian.
Tom Brady.
Now, I think that, no, he's a quadragenarian. But I like to, Lewis, as we go along in this, to keep track of certain phrases. For example, I feel like Gary used the phrase 1 year wonder.
Right.
So, is he a rookie? Do you have to be a rookie to be a 1 year wonder?
2 years ago, when nobody expected them to do anything, they had a fantastic passing offense out of nowhere, the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Oh, yes.
And Bortles was great, and Robinson and Hearns both had like 10, 12 touchdowns. And nobody thought they were going to do anything. So everybody took him in the first round last year, and he was horrific all year. And I just don't believe he's really that good. I think it was a 1 year wonder.
So you don't have to be a rookie to be a 1 year wonder.
No, he just had one good year.
Right. You can get hot at any time during your your career. You know.
Okay.
I forget the guy. There was a guy for Denver that didn't do anything for 5 or 6 years. They traded him to San Francisco for 1 year. He was unstoppable. Had like 5 million catches and then just fell off the face of the map.
He's like Wes Welker was for the Dolphins. He was all right for the Dolphins.
Yeah.
And then he goes to New England, and he's...
Well, he's more like a 5 year wonder. But yes, he didn't do a thing for the first 5 years of his career.
So, do you think Tom Brady's going to suck all year? Is that what you're saying?
I'm not sure, but I would be concerned with a 40-year-old quarterback. At some point, he's going to fall off a cliff.
Right.
That's what they all do. They look at Peyton Manning. He didn't just... they started the year, he's the number one quarterback on the board, and by the end of the year, he's in a nursing home.
Now, Tom Brady did just win the Super Bowl. Just happened.
Yeah. Well, Peyton had just won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but Peyton had all that surgery and everything.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying.
Do you think that...
I mean, Tom Brady's still drinking the blood of young children.
A year from now, I know he's having those, what do you call them, the stem cell treatments.
Right.
But a year from now, we may be talking about all the surgery Tom Brady's. I'm just saying, they tend to go fast when they get to that age.
Okay, so it's...
NFL's a very violent league.
Yes.
You think he was beat down so bad in the Super Bowl, the first half, he made a deal with the devil and said... Give me one good half.
Okay, all right.
And then you can have me.
The devil went down to Georgia. He was looking for a soul to steal.
He's in a bind because he's way behind. He's looking to make a deal.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Ooh, can we pull that one up? Okay, so scale from 1 to 10.
Yeah, it's a 5.2.
5.2?
Yeah.
You've never gone 0.2. It's always been like a 0.0 or 0.5.
Well, then it's a 5.
Oh, wow.
Look at you. You negotiated yourself down some.
I know.
You need to learn when to say take it.
I'm not on a roll.
Is there a TV contract that you'd like to make me pay less for?
No,
okay,
thank you.
Just checking.
Okay, so who's next?
That would be Mr. Conti with the vile name that I'm not going to say on the radio.
Okay.
Let's see. Kirk Cousins. Now, see, the problem with Cousins is they changed the coach, the offensive coordinator, and got rid of a lot of his success tools from last year. I noticed he only scored 10 points today in a 13-point loss to Philly. I would have been a little hesitant about hanging it all on Kirk Cousins with new coordinator. So, plus he's in the last year of a contract, so that maybe he's trying a little harder. But all those things that worked well from last year might not work this year with different personnel and different system. That would make me nervous. Melvin Gordon was a one-hit wonder last year after having done nothing for the previous years. That would make me nervous. Marshawn Lynch had retired. Now he's come back.
Oh, yeah.
A.J. Green's pretty good. Decker is underrated. That's a good pick.
Would you say that Decker has a lot of upside?
Yes, absolutely.
Explain to the audience what you mean by upside.
No. You know, honestly, not so much upside. He's older. He's just a guy that has always been on bad teams and does pretty well, but never gets any attention.
Okay.
Because, for instance, last year he was in a tiny media market, and I think people just didn't know that he was still catching,
catching balls.
Yeah, for the Jets.
Okay.
So it's just one of those things. Reed, fantastic tight end, is probably number 1 or 2 tight end. Kelly, same sort of thing. Those Redskins offense, I don't trust it because they changed a bunch of things. And plus, I don't know if you've seen him really. It's as if I'm trying to think of. You remember the comedian Louis Anderson?
Yeah.
It's as if he was playing tailback for the Redskins.
Wow.
Yeah, he's a portly man.
Wow.
R. Kelly.
Oh,
his nickname is like Fatso or Fat Stuff or something.
It's not subtle. It's
right.
not. And they're big guys in the NFL.
Panthers D is fine and mediocre. Gostkowski is the best kicker. Bench is Mariota might be that's the guy with the upside. Tennessee quarterback in his third year.
Okay, explain to the audience what you mean by upside.
A person whose talent overrides their accomplishments so far for whatever reason. Like they haven't gotten in, or they had bad surrounding talent, or the coaching wasn't any good. But then all of a sudden, maybe in year 3, they've developed to the point where they can overcome that stuff and they blossom.
Oh, nice. Okay. All right. So you think
who
has a lot of upside there?
We should do
that was Marcus Mariota.
A thing. Who's the best fat quarterback, running back of all time?
Yeah.
Okay.
We could do that.
Jerome
Bettis was a
What was
portly
my
man.
idea about? We had a football idea game today, and you're like, "Yes, we should absolutely do that." And now I can't remember who it was.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Okay. All right, go ahead.
So his bench I find his bench to be thin. I think he's a good backup quarterback. Jeremy Macklin's never done anything since Kansas City days. I give him a 5.7.
No, we're giving it a 0.5 or a 0.0.
5.5.
All right. 5.5
Let's
next.
see. Next would be
Hey, girly. Hey.
portly comedian Drew Harrison. Let's see.
I love the word portly so much.
Right? Aaron Rodgers is a great quarterback. I'd have to go back and look, but I guarantee you took him too early.
He only got 4 points. That's even less than Tom Brady.
It's going on right now. It's in the second quarter.
Okay.
But it's against Seattle. He's not likely to have the greatest day.
Okay.
Paul Perkins is probably the worst starting running back in the league. C.J. Anderson might be in contention for that. Brandon Cooks is pretty good. Crabtree is a second receiver on the Raiders. Olsen's good tight end. Hogan is a disaster. He got 1 point the other night, and he's completely overrated.
Hogan? Different Hogan.
Jay Ajayi on his bench. Now, that's probably starting running back, but he got nixed this week by the bye week because of the hurricane. They called their game off. So he's a little better than that. I got to give him the same 5.5 I gave Kelsey.
Now, why do Alex and...
Nah, you know what? I give him a 6 because I forgot. Ajayi should have been in the lineup. That wasn't supposed to be a bye week this week. That was the estimate.
Why does, Alex...
I'm sitting there thinking his running backs are weak, but he actually has a pretty good running back on the bench.
So, why would Alex get a 5.5 and I got a 5.0? What's the big difference?
Well, you actually got 5.2, but you negotiated yourself a little.
Right, that's true.
Okay.
But then again, he got a 5.7, so it was still a half a point difference.
0.5 spread there.
I'd have to go back and look at teams again now.
I'm just saying, I think this is very subjective, and I think you're biased against me. But go ahead.
You're my wife.
Exactly.
I don't like the rest of these people. How would I be biased against you?
Because I'm a woman who doesn't know anything about football.
Hold on, not playing the sexist
No,
card.
I said I'm a woman who doesn't know anything about football.
I know.
Well, so you're just a person who doesn't know anything about football.
Okay, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But do you think that maybe you're the first one out of the gate, so you got the most fury out of Gary, and now he's...
he's tempering it.
Right, yeah. You're like the first child to get spanked, and then the other one...
You know what? We may have to have him go back and look at mine again when he's done.
I didn't call you portly comedian Blair Postman.
Not to my face, but you didn't do it to Drew's face either.
That's true.
You did it when he wasn't here.
That's true.
But terrible. You do call her that on your blog. I'm just saying.
Right. Yeah, Gary's secret football blog. Gary's secret football blog.
Yeah, what's your favorite dance, Blair? The bowling ball.
Is that a dance?
I don't know.
All right, I don't understand that. But
okay.
You made Lewis laugh, so there you go.
All right.
Brian Bava.
Yeah, Brian Bava. Let's see. Ben Roethlisberger is a shell of his former self.
He got 16 points.
Yeah, reasonably good day today, although they only won by 3 against laughing stock in Cleveland.
Yeah,
I thought Cleveland looked good. I was watching some of the game, but then I was like...
They did. When that quarterback gets his act, that was the first game he's ever played in his life, and he's a rookie. When he gets his act together, that'd be better. They've had a lot of high draft picks, so maybe they're turning the corner. Roethlisberger looked terrible. The Pittsburgh offense looked terrible. He was not a top 10 quarterback last year, so he's overrated for this. For fantasy. I'd take him on my team, but I wouldn't want him for fantasy.
Okay.
DeMarco Murray, good pick, but same thing. He's injury prone. Matt Forte is 111 years old. Antonio Brown.
That's very old.
Antonio Brown's good, but if Roethlisberger's going to fall off the cliff, then that's going to hurt him too. Amari Cooper is up and coming. He's got excellent receivers. Witten might be the oldest person we've talked about. He literally is about 80.
Gary Haymes.
So Larry Fitzgerald.
Really?
This team is going to. They've got what is it? American Association of Retired People? AARP.
Yes.
Yeah. If you don't know Bava's team, you don't know ARP.
Right.
Right. All right.
Seriously, I didn't know Jason Witten was still playing.
Yeah, me neither. I'm not sure he is, even though he's on the team and starting.
Well, he maybe he just likes names he's comfortable and familiar with.
Yeah, maybe.
He doesn't know what the new rock and roll music is that the kids are listening to.
Oh, he's got O.J. Simpson on his bench.
No. All right, so he's got the Broncos, and he's got...
Well, he has the best receivers that anybody's had so far. And DeMarco Murray's still a reasonable starter. So, bench, Alshon Jeffrey used to be a top 10 receiver. He's a joke now, but he used to be good. He scored 5 points today. Jameson Crowder had -1 points today. Mark Ingram's had his job taken away. Terrence West is a disaster in Baltimore. White is one of 5 running backs in New England.
He got 14 points today.
Yeah. Eric Ebron, I vaguely remember who he is, and Eli Manning will never get in a game because he's his backup quarterback. So I give on the strength of his receivers and his one running back, I give him a 6.
All right.
2
Same as
sixes.
Drew, 2 sixes. This is an unusually generous year so far, except to me. Anyway, go ahead. Okay, we're at...
How'd you do today?
Not that great.
Yeah, okay.
All right, Timmy Booth.
Auto-drafted heroes. Timmy went with the fantastic strategy of letting the computer pick his team for him.
I didn't technically, but I largely went with what the computer said.
You took its advice and you consulted other people. And
I didn't consult anyone else.
Right.
I did it completely alone.
All right, well.
Yeah.
I'm looking at his lineup, and I'm almost certain that there's not a single player in his lineup that I would take on my team.
Ooh.
Like I would trade up 1 for 1 for anyone on my team.
Jesus.
Timmy Booth was the king a couple of years ago.
Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. He fooled me with that first week bye. I didn't look at his bench. He does have Mike Evans. He's a pretty good receiver. But he's buyed out of week 1 because of the hurricane. I didn't see that right away.
Okay.
But, that's one guy. Frank Gore is about the same age as all those other people on Bob's team. What is it with the old people?
I don't know.
These geriatric...
How old is old?
For the NFL, about 38.
Okay, well...
Jameis Winston. Now, I was a big fan of Jameis Winston being drafted. I think that's a guy. He had 4,000 some yards last year. He's got new, better receivers. He's young. He's got a big arm. He's grown large on all the stolen crab cakes that he smuggled out of that seafood restaurant.
Right.
And I think he's going to have a breakout year and be one of the 4 or 5 best ones going forward.
It's so interesting when you do callback jokes to last year on the crab. Because I remember you making those jokes last year.
That's when it happened.
And I know, but it's just funny. It's like we're still having the same conversation.
Well, that happened to him in college. He's in his 3rd year in the NFL. So the event is actually 4 years old.
No, but you referenced it.
Yeah, well, it's pretty funny.
It's a ridiculous
when your Heisman
thing.
Trophy winner is stealing crab cakes in his underwear out of a seafood shop.
There's something else was going on there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what's the overall feel about Timmy Booth's auto-drafted heroes?
4.5.
4.5?
Yeah.
Wow.
Why?
Because they're terrible.
But I mean...
Which is in no way an indictment of my feelings for Timmy Booth, who I really don't know.
Okay, well, that's true. But he moved away right when we started doing this, so you didn't really know him.
The one time I saw him, I think I called him Teamy to his face because I thought that was his name.
Yeah, no. Oh, because that's what it was in the name of the...
Booth, yeah.
Yeah, no.
Right.
That was just for fun on the fantasy league board. All right. Well, so you're just saying they're terrible because they're old?
Well, it's not that good. The team is not that good. The computer auto draft tends to select all the guys with cocaine addictions that everybody knows about, and so they don't pick them. And then that's the highest one left when the computer does it.
It feels like there should be a phrase for that, like computer blindness or something.
Yeah.
We'll work on that.
Computer snow blindness.
Right, exactly.
Wasn't there a song? Wasn't there a Snowblind song?
I don't know.
It's like
all right.
one of those late 80s bands.
All right, we're going to Laura Cahoy.
Like Styx. Maybe it's Styx. Laura Cahoy, who I have never met, I don't think.
Oh, really? We worked together.
Maybe once. No, maybe once.
Maybe
I don't know.
Thing.
Derek Carr is an up-and-coming quarterback. I like that.
Yeah, she knows about football. I do not.
McCaffrey's a rookie. I don't think he's ready to start yet, but he has
upside.
Lots of upside.
Lots of upside. What gives him lots of upside?
Her two running backs are both rookies, and they're the two most talented rookie running backs in the draft. However, that's a bold move because very few step right in from game one and perform well.
Maybe some of our other people were on bye or something.
Maybe we haven't got down to the bottom. But those are two very talented but also not ready. I see that they have 2 and 1 points respectively today.
Right.
Julio Jones is one of the 2 or 3 best receivers in the NFL. Thomas is fantastic. In fact, it's hard to get those two on the same team because they're in the top 12.
Well, she managed it.
She did manage it. Travis Kelce's a good tight end. Adrian Peterson, I don't totally buy, but at least he's this, player that gets him downs.
You don't think he's going to have a second coming of Christ in New Orleans?
Well, the only thing about New Orleans, they have such a good passing offense that they can't stack the line to stop him like they did in Minnesota. They'd put 8 guys in the box and stuff him, and he still would get 1,800 yards.
Right.
Like here, everybody's got to cover all Drew Brees' receivers, so he might have a little more room to run. But he has 2 other talented running backs in the backfield with him, so he's not going to get all the carries either. So, I don't know. This is the best team yet. Tyler Eifert, now she totally sabotaged me 1 pick ahead of me when I was going to take Tyler Eifert, and she took him.
Ah, well, you've got to have a lot of respect for that.
Yes.
And her fucking defense got 19 points.
Yeah. This is the best team yet. I give her a 7.
Wow. Laura Cahoy. And what do you think? What do you think? Looking at this, her strategy is that's getting her, such great kudos.
Well, like I said, she got 2 of the top 12 players are her 2 starting wide receivers, so that's tough. The thing that's going to hurt her, those rookie running backs, if they don't pan out, right, and there's no way to know. Like the most skilled ones have gone belly up, and then that guy we saw today was like a 4th-round draft choice. He was unstoppable.
You know what's interesting? I'm just looking at this, and what do I know? But she doesn't have any running backs on her bench. She has all wide receivers on her bench.
Very thin at running back.
All right.
Well, of course, the thing is, my best running back last year, I picked up off the waiver wire in like the 4th week, the Bears guy, and he turned out to be the 3rd running back of the year. So. Okay. That is the problem. She's very thin at running back, and the one she has, but she's playing a running back at flex, so she actually has 3.
Oh, okay. I didn't notice that. I was just looking below.
Thin at running back, but if those 2 rookies work out, she's contending for the championship. Although she'll still lose to me.
She would beat her boyfriend Drew.
Oh, both literally and in fantasy football.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. All right. Okay, now Dink Kearney, Team Kearney.
Yeah. Okay. Matty Ryan had a pretty good game today. He's an excellent quarterback. Johnson was the first pick in the draft. He only had 6 points today. Could he be a one-hit wonder? I don't think so. He also catches a lot of passes. He's a double threat running back. I like that. But he's only got 1 good year under his belt, so you never know. Gurley was the shit 2 years ago and was just shit last year, so that's a gutsy pick. If he comes back, that could be a good pick. Got him for a value.
When are the Raiders moving to Las Vegas?
2020.
Oh, okay.
Baldwin and Keenan Allen are like when you make a lasagna and you forget to buy the self-cooking lasagna noodles, and so you didn't boil them, and then you put them in there. I know, but if you don't, then you have to boil them.
Right.
So it's like you thought they were self-cooking, and you put them in, but then they stayed rock hard, and so you cut it, and it's like cutting lard. That's what those 2 receivers are.
Are you saying they are stale?
I'm saying that when you bite into it expecting deliciousness, you get a hard, crunchy thing that cuts your gum.
Okay, so you're not in favor of those 2.
Keenan Allen and Doug Baldwin, please. Delaney Walker is always that guy that when you forget to take a tight end, you take him at 11th, and then he has a good year. I kind of like him, but he's definitely not one of the top ones. Isaiah Crowell is an alien. Vikings are forgettable. Will Lutz, at least he's on New Orleans. He'll get to kick a lot of extra points. Bench is thin. Dink, I thought he knew some about football. What happened, you think? Just got hit in the head too many times?
Whoa! Well, we know he has a lot to know about the Cowboys.
I guess.
I don't know. Maybe he had to auto-draft. He might have auto-drafted.
Maybe. He was probably at one of those parties. He was probably one of those parties that we never get invited to.
Right, probably. Yeah. Almost surely.
Don't let him off the hook like that.
Okay. Well, so what do you think?
He's a... Well, just on the strength of his running backs, I'll give him a 5.5.
5.5.
Yeah.
All right.
But those receivers are not good.
And then we got Team Red Rockets. We got Lewis Bishop.
All right. Hang on.
I picked the team?
Yes, you did.
Yes, you did.
Oh, boy.
You auto-drafted a team.
What?
Well, your boy Howard for Chicago today had a good game. And you got rookie. Now, here's the rookie running back to have, Leonard Fournette. Had 100 yards and a touchdown today, 18 points for Jacksonville, who won 29-6 and looked like a powerhouse.
Jacksonville.
That's my pick for most improved team.
Jacksonville?
Yep.
Okay.
Did they beat the Texans today?
Crushed them 29-7.
Yeah, because I saw like at the half or whatever it was 19-0. I was like, what?
All the reports out of training camp, they got like 4 new players on defense, and they were saying their defense looked fantastic. Now, granted, they had a rookie quarterback starting for Houston today, so maybe it's not the greatest situation in his first game, but they destroyed the Texans. So that's a good pick. Odell Beckham, of course, is great. Terrell Pryor is one of the guys. He had one good year. They traded him to the Redskins. New offensive coordinator. I don't know. He had 6 points today. I don't trust that. He's got downside. That's what he's got. Good opportunity to not do what he did last year.
Oh,
Kyle Rudolph is a forgettable manifestation of a former failed tight end that you wouldn't want anymore.
Thank you.
Cardinals are okay. Hopkins fine. Let's see. Benjamin, Garcon, Wallace, Williams. Nobody of note on the bench. It's about a...
Wallace. Is that Marcellus Wallace?
Yes, it's Marcellus Wallace. Yeah.
From Pulp Fiction?
Yeah, he threw one of the Samoan defensive ends out the window.
Oh, okay.
I give him 5.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
He's beating... You're tied with me, Lewis.
Uh-huh.
Okay, you're much more positive about this. All right.
A 5. Listen, it's on a scale of 10, right?
Yeah.
Now,
okay.
I'd like to point out that the logo picture for Parts Unknown is my old work manager.
Yes.
It's not the shirtless picture that I wish he could have found.
Oh, okay.
But it's pretty good.
All right, so this is Steve.
Yes. Nobody's going to appreciate that with me.
Steve, who's a Buffalo Bills fan?
That's pretty. Yes, he is.
Okay,
and
Steve's new to the league, so he's Buffalo Bills fan.
He took LaShawn McCoy, who in the games when he doesn't tear a leg off will look fine, but in the games where he does tear a leg off will totally screw you.
They speak English and what?
Right?
What? English, motherfucker! Do you speak it? Yes. And you know what I'm saying.
I should have never said anything.
Yes.
Can we have that the You Never Can Tell song from that movie?
Oh, sure. By little-known rock and roll legend Chuck Berry?
Yes.
Yes. This was what he wrote when he wasn't putting cameras in the bathroom to look at women urinate.
Someone else has told me that.
Yeah.
That makes me actually like Chuck Berry even more than what I like him before.
Well, there you go.
You know what?
All right, so back to this travesty. Drew Brees is a good quarterback. McCoy, like I said,
How's
when he's
Drew
not...
Brees doing?
He's good. He's getting old, too.
I was going to say, how come you're not calling him old as dirt and
he's
everything?
38.
Right.
He's getting there. So you can play quarterback at 38. Very few people have done well after 40.
Okay.
Tom Brady's 40.
Okay.
But
he's not after 40.
Tom Brady had a great year last year.
He's not after 40.
No, but at some point, they're going to fall off a cliff. It happens fast. That's all I'm saying.
We're going to see.
Could happen to Drew Brees, too.
I know they did terrible last Thursday, but was it his fault that they did terrible?
The last time they got smoked by Kansas City, they ended up winning the Super Bowl. So who knows? Okay. I don't know. I'm not ready to call it on one game.
Okay.
But he's had a lot of change. A lot of his best receivers are gone. So,
and this is kind of works because we're talking about New Orleans.
Yeah. So I like Drew Brees still. I think he's got another year or two left in him. LaShawn McCoy, when he's healthy, if he can stay healthy, is a good running back. Cook for Minnesota, excuse me, is one of these guys where it's a risk. You put him in there. He's never done anything before. All the ESPN cognoscenti like him, but we don't know.
Ooh,
that's kind of risky. Yeah.
Fancy.
Des Bryant is an overrated piece of crap for fantasy perspective.
Okay.
Sammy Watkins.
I bet his family
Sammy
likes
Watkins.
him.
Steve just wants to blow him, and he hopes Sammy's going to hear that he's on his team and feel good about it.
I don't. He's for the Raiders though. He doesn't play for his team.
He played for the Bills last year.
Oh.
I dared him to take him, and he took him. So.
Did you dare him to take Rob Gronkowski just to hurt me?
No, but I think Gronkowski.
You did me a favor.
I think Gronkowski physically is on the downhill.
I even thought so. I told you I purposely didn't draft him in the first couple because they did so well without him last year.
Yeah, Randall Cobb did nothing last year. He's a has-been. Bill's D is pretty good. Bailey's the best kicker, one of the best kickers. Martin, once he comes back from suspension, is a decent running back, and he's got everybody for Tampa Bay. So
Matthew Stafford on his bench.
Stafford had a good team today, good game today.
Yeah,
he's the kind of guy though that as soon as you start getting confidence in you, he will give you a rectal exam.
Right,
I mean, you cannot count on him.
I thought you were going to say disappoint you.
I did.
Okay.
I did say that.
You said rectal exam. I'm not sure that's disappointing. It seems like an assault.
I don't know. Everyone I've ever had has been pretty disappointing.
Yeah, well, I don't know what you're expecting.
There's nothing in
what
there.
What are you expecting?
Look again.
So let me ask you this.
Yeah.
What's your overall ranking for Steve there?
I got to give him... I wanted to give him a 6, but I can't.
Okay, then don't.
He's a 5.5.
5.5.
Yeah.
Now, Gary, this is the most important part, of course.
Okay.
You need to assess your own team.
Didn't I do that already?
No.
All right.
You did not.
All right.
Right now, Laura Cahoy, far and away, not even close, in the lead with 7.
Yeah.
A 7.
She's thin at running back, though.
Well, okay, but which, just so you know, that's how he set her up for how he's going to have a 7.5 or an 8. But go ahead. Laura, I even before we begin this, I'm on Laura's side.
But
okay.
I'm just, listen, this is why you guys are a good team, because he didn't even bring it up. You brought it up.
I know.
In an off comment. So.
Right.
All right, so my team.
We're always watching the right. We need to watch the left hand.
One of the things I went into the draft thinking was I think Cam Newton had a bad year last year, but I think he's got the potential to bounce back.
Well,
and have a really good
it doesn't
season.
look so great yet.
It's the game is the halftime.
I know, but he's only got 6.
Yeah.
If you double it, it's only 12.
So
he's practically Tom Brady.
Realizing that
very old.
He's 12 years younger than Tom Brady.
I meant from a points perspective.
Realizing that.
Oh, Jesus Christ, just get to it.
Realizing that was somewhat of a risky move, because it's just my opinion, I don't know. I also snatched up Andrew Luck on my bench, who is a top 5 quarterback, but he's out with an injury for the first game or two. So if the Cam Newton thing doesn't work out, I have a very viable backup, which is a certain level of planning that the rest of you don't seem to really
now that
take
you've
into account.
explained your thought process, a thing that no one else had the benefit of doing, continue.
Oh, I did it for him, Blair.
Yes. Okay, great.
Devontae Freeman and Ezekiel
Gary
Elliott.
knows me better than I know myself.
Right.
That's what he tells me all the time.
Right.
I know.
Right. Just ask him.
Right. I know you better than you know yourself.
Devontae Freeman and Ezekiel Elliott I was a genius with Ezekiel Elliott. I got him with a 24th pick in the draft, and then like a week after they took his suspension away, now he's going to play every game, which is what I thought was going to happen. Devontae Freeman, Ezekiel Elliott. Freeman was 10th and Elliott now is 4th, so you shouldn't have had them on the same team. It should be impossible to have them on the same team.
Yeah.
So somehow I managed it.
I've been hearing this for the last 36 to 48 hours.
About
how brilliant this was.
Best pair of starting tailbacks anybody in our league has.
Right. Receivers
are Devontae Adams. And my other starter was DeAndre Hopkins. I took a flyer on Martavis Bryant today, which was a poor decision, but I felt so comfortable with my 30-point lead over Drew that I thought I'd give it a shot. Devontae Adams was the number 7 receiver last year, and my feeling with Brandon Marshall is that he's been one of the top receivers in the NFL for 8 or 9 years. He got sent to the Jets last year. They were a dumpster fire, and he didn't do anything. But now he's been traded to the Giants. He's the number 2 receiver. He's got Odell Beckham drawing double coverage on the other side. I think he's going to have a great big year.
I tell you what made your game so far this week is the Rams defense has 19 points.
Yes. Well, and it goes to show you, I always stream my defenses, almost always.
Yes.
There's only 1 or 2 defenses that you really take and just keep for the rest of the year. And I saw that the Rams were playing, Indianapolis was traveling across country to the West Coast to play the Rams without their quarterback. And their backup quarterback is I used the phrase dumpster fire just 10 seconds ago. I don't want to say it again, but
Kay Hunt on your bench who did 39 points.
Have you ever taken a fish tank and left it out in the sun for about 4 years, and then seen what you scrape off the inside of that once the water's all gone away? That's what Scott Tolzien is.
Jeez.
So, and it's borne up pretty well. Like 3 minutes into the game, he threw an interception, was run back for a touchdown. So. That was just common sense, which I have a lot of.
This guy on your bench here who got 39 points.
Yeah, well, now there you go. I drafted him. I took him in the 4th round. He was the rookie of all these rookies. You notice we've been talking a lot of rookie running backs this year, and it's all because Ezekiel Elliott had such a good year last year that it came back into vogue to take the running backs with the higher picks. So I drafted him thinking of all the rookies, he was the one that I wanted. But I couldn't pull the trigger on starting him opening night because I was playing Drew and I wanted to make sure I got some more reliable, people in there. Mm-hmm. And he was a little bit of risk being a rookie in his first game, and he delivered for 39 points. So now I've got 3, probably the 1, 2, 3 running backs in the league.
Okay, so overall, Gary, what kind of points? How do you evaluate your team?
honestly feel that this is my best draft.
Oh my God!
Since we've been playing this league, and I would give myself an 8.
Yeah, gave himself an 8.
Yeah,
Gary gave himself an 8.
If you could
next closest person, Laura, got a 7.
Yeah.
After that, nobody gets higher than a 6.
Yeah.
Timmy Booth, poor guy, 4.5.
Well, the computer auto drafted his team. What do you want?
The only reason that, Lewis, you and I don't have a 4.5, we got 5s because we're sitting in this room with him.
No. It's because you drafted your own teams. if the computer could auto-draft a better team than you could pick, everybody would auto-draft. Do you see anybody choosing to auto-draft? No.
Yes,
that's how you get a
lots of
sucky
people
team. No.
All right. So let me ask you this. So you're giving yourself an 8.
Yes.
Which means you should win the whole thing this year.
Yes, it should be that.
Yeah, okay. Because I'd like to point out you've given yourself the highest score in the last 2 years.
You know as well as I do that
there could be injuries.
8 weeks in, your team is going to look nothing like it looks on the draft day.
Mine might.
Yours might, yeah.
Mine might. So let me ask you this.
Mine will.
Who are the...
Right.
Who, before we call Mr. Joe Pro and get into it, finish up a different fantasy league, as today, very poetic. We're ending one, we're starting another.
I know.
So what do you think is the big surprise, or what's your big 1 or 2 surprises, either players or teams for the year?
Well, Kareem Hunt scoring 39 points in his opening game of his career. That's the last time somebody did something like that was LaDainian Tomlinson in his first game, and he just got inducted into the Hall of Fame this year.
All right, so that was good.
Yeah, he scored 3 touchdowns. I drafted him that year too because I'm really good at this.
Yes. And is there a team that you think is going to be a surprise team, or a team or two?
I think the Cowboys are going to fall back.
I'm sorry.
I just all this negative. I just see them sliding back a little bit.
Okay.
They don't have the defense is not great. Somehow, when they control the ball on the ground, the defense didn't have to play that much. Ezekiel Elliott was a surprise. Teams weren't ready for him. Now they know what they're going to do. I don't see them going. What did they 12-4 or whatever they were last year? So that's bad. I tell you what, that kid for Chicago looked like the greatest thing since
sliced bread.
Sliced bread, yeah, right. Yeah, ever had a loaf of bread with no slices?
We can all slice our own bread.
Not necessarily. You don't have a knife. You're really up the creek in that
just
situation.
Rip it off in hunks.
I
That's
know,
what I like to do.
Then it's all rough. I like a smooth.
I like it. I like my bread rough.
Right.
No one's ever said, "Oh, it's better than hunked bread."
Right.
It's better than crudely torn slice of bread.
Right.
I like it. It's like a peasant feel.
Yeah.
So you think the Chicago guy? Who do you think is going to be the?
Well,
the
no,
team?
I was just mentioning of the game we watched today. That kid, they call him the human joystick. Well, he was unstoppable.
Chicken salad.
Yes.
So you think that the
chicken salad?
Yes, because he can make something out of nothing.
What?
That's why
what kid? Who's this?
I don't know.
This guy
his
from
name.
Chicago. He went to North Carolina A&T. He's the all-time best player in the history of whatever league they're in.
Sure.
And he's like 5'6", and they could not tackle him. He just blew the doors off.
So who do you think is the team to beat this year?
I think the biggest surprise is going to be Jacksonville. They look great today. They got all these new people. They've had a lot of talent on offense, but they couldn't stop anybody. Their defense was 20th
Bortles
last
still
year.
that guy?
Bortles is still there, but he had a year 2 years ago.
Okay, so let me ask you this. How many fantasy leagues have you signed up for so far?
So far this year, I'm only playing about 15.
Okay. Well, you got the promotion. So.
Oh, the Cat League was up by 35 points, too.
Oh, we did do an all-Cat League.
Yes, 50 to 15.
Did you do any other themes?
Cat League is a little short on talent this year.
But
yet,
you got the Jaguars.
I got Fournette, and he's looking good for Jacksonville, so we'll see.
All right.
Of course, Allen Robinson, their best receiver, and on your team, ripped his knee ligament today. He's probably out for the season.
Q.
Yeah.
Interesting choice on the music. I don't dislike it. It's just
I'll tell you something else. Here's another bold prediction. I don't think New England's going to do it. I think Brady is not going to make it through the season, and I think they're going to be 8-8.
Who are your 2 picks?
8-8.
Who's going to Super Bowl? Just for kicks before we call Joe.
Oakland.
Yeah.
What? And
did you hear that?
Oakland and Seattle.
Can't play the. Oh,
that's going to be almost a regional thing.
Yeah.
Why Oakland?
Well, I don't think New England. I don't think they have it. I think Brady. This is the year he loses it. They're thin, like a few injuries. Their best linebacker retired because he's worried about the head injury stuff. I think they're gonna back out of it a little bit. And then you think who else is there? Some people like the Steelers. I watched the Steelers today. Their defense is not great.
Do you think possibly the Madden curse might be with Tom Brady, being that he is on the cover of Madden this year?
Well, sure. You always got to worry about that.
It's a real thing.
You don't actually have to worry about it, but yes.
Well, it's almost always been right.
Okay.
You think he knew that this is his last year, so he's like, I've never been on the cover. I might as well cash out.
Might as well now, yeah.
Plus, the Raiders quarterback kind of looks like Dean.
From Sam and Dean from
Yes.
Supernatural, a fake TV show.
Yeah.
Well, that's not
it's a real TV show, Blair. I've watched it for 12 years.
Okay, but they're not real people. They're characters.
No, they're real people. It's not CGI.
They're not robots.
Jeez.
Okay, guys. So you're calling the Raiders and Seattle. Interesting.
As on opening day, I reserve the right to change my mind by the end of the year. Injuries,
always do.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, we're going to finish up here by calling Dragon Master Joe Perot and finish up our Game of Thrones League.
Should I rate Joe Perot's performance as Dragon Master?
No.
You sure?
I'm pretty sure. Here.
You could alienate one more person.
Well, I'm sure you can find another way to alienate him.
Okay.
I mean, you've been practicing.
In the mirror.
Well, not necessarily with Joe, but just this whole,
Your whole life.
That was a pretty good alienation.
It was.
Hello.
Hello, Dragon Master Joe Pro. You're on with my fantasy wife. How are you?
I'm great. How you guys doing?
Good. We just had Gary's Fantasy League draft.
Third annual
Fantasy League draft assessment and friend alienation special, where he goes through everyone in our league's fantasy team, gives them a point, and then gives himself the highest number of points.
Not necessarily. It just has happened to be that 3 years in a row.
Right. It's just never been anything but that.
So whose team looks the best, Gary?
Mine.
Gary's team.
Okay.
Yeah. Laura Cahoy.
And honestly, this year wasn't even close. I had a great draft.
Laura Cahoy was, as you gave a 7 out of 10 to your 8 out of 10, and she was the next highest. So she's Drew Harrison's girlfriend, among other things.
Her running backs, I don't hold that against her, though, but her running backs are a little thin.
All right. So we have some important business to finish up here in another fantasy league, Joe.
That's right.
And that is now we're a little...
Yes, I have to cap my comeback.
This seems like ages ago.
It does seem like ages ago. It was kind of... we took Labor Day weekend off, of course, and so we're just going to revisit Westeros for one more time, maybe for 2 years.
I don't even remember. Did they kill the Night King? Is that what happened?
No. So how would you like to go about this, Mr. Perot?
Well, do you have the current standings?
I do.
And why don't we do an update on current standings? I don't need to know who's on everybody's team, but just how many points everybody has.
Okay. House Blair has 14. House Drew has 13. House Gary has... House Brent, I believe, has 9. And House Lewis has 7.
Okay. All right. So here's what I did. I rewatched the episode, and then I kind of went chronologically through the episode and awarded people points. So some people are mentioned a couple times because they got points for different stuff throughout the episode. So a little different than I did the last ones, but
okay. Well,
this made more sense in my brain.
That'll make for some suspense.
I hear inconsistency is the heart of mediocrity.
Yeah, whatever.
Mediocre at many things, Gary.
Yes, right. We're a very mediocre podcast then.
Okay.
And actually we are. Okay, so go ahead, go for it.
All right. So first point for the episode went to Danny. She made quite an entrance.
Yes.
Or do we need an episode recap? Has it been so long enough?
Yes, that'd be fabulous.
By all means.
Recap that baby for us.
Danny and Jon Snow had sex.
Yeah, but not until the end.
At the end, but
I feel like that was the most memorable
respecting
part.
The chronological order.
He banged his arm.
Sorry, go ahead, Joe. Sorry.
So there was the big peace council with Cersei and Danny and Jon Snow and every character essentially, and they sit down and they're going to have a truce because of the zombies, and then Jon Snow's like, well, I won't not go to war, and then so Cersei says fuck the truce, and then Tyrion goes, and then they do a truce, but it's a false truce because Cersei's a manipulative cunt, and so she's lying about everything, right?
But she did tell him that she was pregnant, which I wonder if she is. But go ahead.
Oh, you think she's not? So
I just don't trust anything. So
I think the baby's going to look like the mountain.
Maybe that would be interesting. Anyway, go ahead.
I think that's called stillborn.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
And then essentially that one wraps up with they're heading north to go fight, and Jaime eventually tells Cersei to fuck off too, and he goes north as well.
Because Cersei's like, oh, I'm not actually sending any troops to go.
Right.
Right, and yeah.
And then the other action was all in Winterfell.
Boy, was it.
So Littlefinger was doing some manipulation, and it looked like he had finally driven the wedge between Sansa and Arya, and then they're going to put Arya on trial, and she's in the middle of the room with a bunch of soldiers around her, and then Sansa says something like, and how do you plead to these accusations, Peter Baelish, right? So
it was like what?
Yeah. And then they sentence him to death, essentially, and it's fun to watch him go through layers of maybe he could make the case and he could talk his way out of it, and then maybe he could cry his way out of it, and then they just slit his throat with his own knife.
Yeah.
And then you get like this super double secret news about Jon Snow. Now, one layer more that the wedding was annulled, so that way, when Rhaegar did marry whatever the Stark girl's name was, that Jon Snow is actually Aegon Targaryen, and he is the rightful heir to the throne.
Yep.
And
it's going to get awkward later.
And then it ends with Jon fucking his aunt.
Yeah, when I saw that scene, I went through in my mind a list of all of my aunts. And,
Gary,
and
please stop.
It's not good.
Just stop.
It's not good.
Just stop.
Not good for you? Well, I mean...
No.
Okay, let's just...
But if Dany was your aunt...
Yes, that would be different.
Hot aunt. I'm not saying that you have sex with her, but, like, they also don't know, Blair. I mean, who can blame them?
See, Blair and I thought we had an ant problem, but not like this.
No, those are just little... You know what? Ha ha.
You guys should get the little traps that you put in the kitchen.
We've got those. Okay.
Have you tried having sex with them?
Okay.
That might work.
You get the ant traps and it holds them down, and then...
Oh, boy. Okay. Wow. All right.
Ant hotel. Ants check in, but they don't check out until they're sexually satisfied.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. I feel like this is my fault somehow.
Yeah. I do too.
Oh, it's definitely your fault.
Yeah, for sure. Forever doing this podcast in the first place.
So they hook up and then cut to the wall, and then the resurrected ice zombie dragon breathes blue fire straight through the wall.
And then we don't know. Well, we won't get into it, but it was bad. Some bad things may or may not have happened there.
Whoever issued the construction license for that thing.
I'm talking about in particular characters, but we'll wait till you go through your points to discuss that.
Okay. All right. Ready for points now? We're
yes,
going
and
to go back in order?
Just to remind the listeners, there are some automatic points. If you kill a known or drafted character, you get 1 point. Exit memorably. If you die memorably, you get 2 points. Sex with a known or drafted character, 1 point. If you win a war or major battle, 2 points. And all other points are awarded at the discretion of Dragon Master Joe Perot and are called on our podcast Awesome Points.
All right.
Excellent.
Yes.
Too late to change any of that, so let's just go with that.
Yeah, it is. Let's go.
Yeah, at this point, let's get to it. So Dany gets a point for riding in on her dragon and making a very extravagant entrance to the war tribunal.
Yes.
So point Dany. Then I gave a point to the Hound, since he was the person who ran the demonstration and eventually sliced that ice zombie right in half.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So a point for the Hound. And then I gave a point to Jon for turning down the truce. It was like, oh, this whole thing made so much sense. They had the ridiculous mission north of the wall, all for the point that they could have this council, give this demonstration.
Right.
And he was like, nope, I'm a man of my word, and I will come back and kill you.
Right.
So a point to him. And then a point to Tyrion, then for stepping into Cersei's chambers and settling everything down. And then I gave a point back to Cersei for her participation in that, because she really talks Tyrion down, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
So that whole part of the episode pretty much wrapped up there. I got 1 for Dany, 1 for the Hound, 1 for Jon, 1 for Tyrion, and 1 for Cersei.
Hey, let me ask you a question. Do you think you didn't think the Hound talking down his brother was point worthy? I thought that was pretty impressed by that.
Ooh, that's a good. I like how he got in there and.
I wasn't expecting that.
Who is the Hound's brother?
The Mountain, yeah. Remember?
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty good.
He's not on either of our
I mean, it doesn't matter for the final thing.
It might.
Is he? Whose team is he on?
He's on Brent.
Oh, okay. Well, I thought that was point worthy myself.
He had a line. He said, someone's coming for you.
Yes.
You know who it is.
You already know who it is, and I don't think I caught that the first time through, but what's that? What does that mean?
Yeah, I didn't know what that meant either, because I didn't think
Is he talking about himself?
I don't think so. I think it's some back thing. I don't think it's him. So are you giving him a point for talking to the Mountain?
Sure. Let's go point heavy in this episode.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do it. That was
crazy
and
see what happens.
Cool scene.
Yeah. Okay, what's next?
So then they cut to Dragonstone.
Oh, if we're leaving that whole time, I'm going to say that I enjoyed this. And again, it's probably going to come back to bite me. But when Tyrion said, when they were talking about what's going to happen if this and that and whatever, and Tyrion said, we're fucked. Just like that. and I enjoyed it. It was kind of the old Tyrion.
Yes.
Hadn't seen him in a while.
You'd have been whining for that point last year.
You sure would have.
All right.
Guess not.
I don't know if I can give an awesome point for just the use of the F word.
Well, okay. It was more the timing, the succinctness, the bluntness of it all. But go ahead.
That's all right.
I tried for you, Gary.
I appreciate it.
Okay, you're welcome.
All right. Then they go to Dragonstone, and Theon grabs Jon. He's like, Jon, can I have a word? And they have like this little dialogue where Jon Snow just talks him down like a total bitch. And it was hilarious. Like, calls him a coward, and the fact like, you stabbed my family in the back, fuck you. So point to Jon for that.
Okay.
And then I give a point. 2 points to Theon then for going onto the beach and then getting in a fist fight with the guy. And while he was getting his ass kicked, eventually the fight turns when the guy was trying to kick him in the groin and tried like 8 times.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Didn't make any sense.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
it was funny that
then Theon headbutts him right in the nose, and he gets 1 point in my book for spitting blood directly in the guy's eye, because I always love that move when a guy's getting beat up and he just out crazies you in a fight and spits blood directly into your eyes so you can't see. And then I believe he beat him to death, so he also gets a point for killing the guy.
Right, and when I don't think he's taken. I think Theon's undrafted.
Okay. Well, I wasted a whole lot of time.
No, but it's sad. But it was fun to visit.
Right.
Next, we moved to Winterfell, and we had the trial of Peter Baelish.
Yes.
So I give Sansa a point for orchestrating the whole trial and the misdirect, and that.
Oh, I still have. Do I still have Sansa?
I don't know.
Hold on. I don't want to cheat. I just want to.
I thought I had her.
No. You never had Sansa. Hold on a second.
I thought I did.
I hope someone's talent.
No, I have. No, I do have Sansa. I took out Theos and then I picked back up Davos. But yeah, I have Sansa.
Nice. All right, so point for her. And then 2 points for Arya.
Yeah.
Because she killed Peter.
Yep. That's Drew. It's 2 points.
Nice.
Boo.
Okay.
All right.
There was something I was going to give Littlefinger a point for, but I don't remember what it was.
Did he die memorably?
Yes.
Oh yeah, Littlefinger gets a point because he
gets
dies
2
memorably.
points.
So he gets an auto 2, right?
Now let's see. Someone had him.
I have him.
Gary, you have him. Oh, Gary, you might be making a comeback.
I know.
Dying. Okay, there you go. So Gary gets 2 for Peter Baelish dying memorably. It was memorable.
It was pretty memorable.
Oh yeah, I mean he started crying and like
it was the whole thing,
begging for his life, and everybody just sat there quiet. And he went like one thing to the next thing, like how can I get my way out of it? And it ended with the last one. I think was he went to Royce, Jan Royce, who's like the old guy from the Vale, and he's like, please, as the Lord of the Vale, escort me back. And he basically gives him a look that just says, go fuck yourself, Chief.
Right.
So that was good. All right, so moving on from then Winterfell, we went back to King's Landing. I'm giving Cersei and Jaime have a back and forth. That was pretty good.
Yep.
So I'm giving Cersei a point because up until that point, right, like you think they're going to go along with this thing, and they are agreeing for the truce, and then she's like, actually, you didn't listen to Dad because gold is what rules all, and we have the Iron Bank, and we have 20,000 mercenary soldiers coming over from the Golden Company in Essos. So she does that. So her scheme, I give her a point. And then I also gave Jaime a point for the same scene for realizing her craziness and then just bailing and leaving.
Yeah. Yep. You cray.
And then there's a, maybe this is getting too much into Brent and my podcast, like an analysis of it, but he's on the horse and he looks down at his golden hand and then he puts a leather glove over his golden hand. So like maybe that was symbolic of like covering up his Lannisterism.
Maybe.
Let me ask you something. Do you think that what's his face Greyjoy gets a point for the complete totalness with which he sold the idea that he was scared of the zombie and ran out of the meeting?
Ooh,
like I completely believed that when he did it until later on it turned out he totally faked it.
Yep.
All right, I'll give an awesome point for
I don't even know who has him.
Excellent thespianism.
Oh, Blair has him.
I have him.
Oh, well, that was costly.
Kept my mouth shut.
All right. That's probably gonna...
Well, I stood up for you, babe.
I know.
One day you'll learn to shut up.
Yeah. Who said that? Was that Blair or Lewis?
It was Cersei Lannister.
Okay.
Okay. So and then we put the glove on, and Jaime rides off to the battle.
All right.
Sure. All right, and then the next scene from there, they went. I think it was back to Winterfell, and it was Bran and Samwell.
Oh yeah. And I believe So Drew picked up Sam.
Drew picked up Sam, and someone must have Bran, right?
I have Bran.
Yeah.
Okay. So I have decided. I initially wrote this down as 1 each, but I think I'm going to change it to 2 points each. 1 because it was it was like that great way that Game of Thrones can be really clever and funny in a way. Sam asks Bran what they met each other before, and he asks him, like, what did you do north of the wall? And Bran just looks at him and goes, I became the three-eyed raven.
Right.
Right.
And Sam looks at him like, I don't know what that means.
Right.
And then he explains he can see everything past, present, and future. And then he says, Jon is coming back from Dragonstone. And he goes, did you see that in a vision? And then he lifts up like this.
Yes.
It's like a raven scroll.
Right.
So like both like back and forth. I thought that was funny. Plus they combined then together to figure out Jon's true identity.
All right.
So 2 points for each of them.
Nice.
And then 1 more point for Jon and Dany each. They get an automatic point for intercourse.
Yep.
And then the last points of the season.
Nail biter.
This is it. Goes to the Night King.
Yep. That's you, Lewis.
I know.
Okay.
And the Night King gets 30 awesome points.
Yeah.
30?
Thank you.
30?
30.
How about 3?
No,
okay,
hold on.
3.
No, well, hold on.
3.
That's a big difference from 30. The guy said 30. He's the Dragon Master.
He was
being a comedian, I think you would know the difference between a joke and the truth.
Well, I thought that he was telling the truth.
3 is more awesome points than anyone's ever gotten for anything.
Yes.
But 30 is more than 3.
He gets an awesome point for just the totality of riding a dragon.
Sure.
Bringing it back to life, and then burning through the wall.
So it's really not 3 for one thing; it's 3 for 3 things.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
So he did
so
3
that's-
things.
that's
He gets a point for each of them. But the totality of awesomeness.
All right.
All right.
It'd be a good name for a rock band, right?
The totality
of awesomeness.
Right.
The totality of awesomeness is actually an excellent name for a rock band.
TOA.
So my guy gets only 3 points for doing all that, being the totality of awesomeness, and you gave points for some guys being witty on horses. Okay. All right. Okay. All right.
Okay, so...
Lewis is upset.
Yeah. All right. I'm out of here. See you. Bye.
All
Place 2 years in a row. Not great.
All right, this is what my math...
Wow.
You tell me if my math is right. All right?
Okay.
I've got House Brent adding 2 points. House Lewis adding 3 points.
30 points.
3 points. House Gary adding 8 points. House Blair adding 6 points. And House Drew adding 5 points. So, if that is correct, the standings would be from order of least to most, best. House Lewis with 10. House Brent with 11. House Drew with 18. House Gary with 19. And House Blair with 20.
Oh, so that point I got you. Won the
we would have
championship
tied.
for you. Okay.
We would have tied.
All right.
I'll let you have the trophy every third week.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. That's right.
I
tried to get your point.
That's an exciting finish to the season.
That was an exciting finish. Gary, you've come in second both years in a row now.
I know.
Wow.
Consistency is my hallmark.
That was, so what do you think?
Mediocrity.
Yeah,
Right.
from what we hear. So what, we think it's going to be 2 years before they're back, right?
Yeah, that's the rumors. It's not until 2019.
So they've got one more season. What do you think we should expect before we let you go? The unexpected.
Is it true? Right. Nobody expects a Spanish
Nobody
Inquisition.
congratulated me on my win yet.
Is it true that there's a bunch of spin-offs coming? I've heard that.
So.
I've heard that.
I hope so. I think we talked about that on a
past
episode
a while
of this particular
ago.
podcast. But hopefully one about Robert's Rebellion.
Yeah.
Maybe like one that goes back a little further to like the initial conquest would be cool.
Yeah.
But I think they'll all be mini-series. They won't be long. But I can't imagine they try to do like another 8-season show.
I was just worried about whether Tormund had died or not. I had heard. I read some theories that people think he did not die, so I hope not.
Yeah, I don't think it's a theory. I think they show him still alive.
Okay, all right.
He and Beric Dondarrion. I mean, they get like just far enough on where the wall crumbles, but they do show them, and they cut away.
Right.
They do show them like kind of.
Right.
Seeing over the edge.
All right. Well,
I don't know. It's gonna be a wild finish because it's quick. There's only 6 episodes apparently for that next one, and still a lot of shit has to happen.
Right.
But I think I'm looking forward to whatever this army that Cersei brings over. I think will be cool, and
right.
The impending war with the Night King.
Yeah.
Well, I think the real takeaway is that I finally won something.
Yes.
It might be the last time. It certainly is the first time. So I'd like to thank Gary Haymes.
Yeah, I hope so.
Otherwise, we would have tied.
Right.
I would not have totally lost. All right. Mr. Joe Pro, as always, it's been a pleasure and an honor watching Game of Thrones with you this season.
Well, congratulations on your win.
Thank you. I look forward to my my prize. Nice. Yes.
What do you win for winning?
I don't know. I'm coming to Raleigh to do your show next week with Lewis and some other folks, so you can buy me a piece of cake.
There we go. All right. Deal. Or how about a drink?
All right. Maybe that. All
Less
right.
planning, because I certainly will forget. Thanks, guys.
All right. Thanks, Joe. Bye-bye.
See ya.
Well.
All right. Now that we got that out of the way, can I run quickly through the scores for our fantasy teams?
Very quickly. We got to go.
I know. Team Red Rockets beating just the tip 62-57 and projected to win 79-71.
Oh, that's Mr.
All right. That'll be
Bishop.
Mr. Bishop starting off possibly with a win. Team Furry Fury losing to Daddy Jack and the Ballsacks 46-69 and projected to lose 58-82.
It's not going to be good.
Team Parts Unknown losing to Team Kearney 38-54, but projected to win 85-80. That's going to come down to the wire.
Yeah.
Team Auto Drafted Heroes beating Lucky Mother Funches 68-65 and projected to win 87-83. Sounds close. And then little old me facing two-time champion Drew Harrison with perhaps his best team yet. I wasn't even going to play, and then I said, well, I'll give it a shot. Well, up 65-25 and projected to win 103-52.
All right. Well, that's going to wrap us up. A chock-full episode this week, listeners. Get everything about us at myfantasywife.com. Thank you, Mr. Bishop, for taking us out with the rock opera stylings of Queen and Freddie Mercury.